And our 3 senior captains, Abigail Anderson, Lindsay Gallagher, Julia Paini.
It brings a lot of pressure to be champions because you have to live up to everyone's expectations. You know, the field hockey team has been good for a while, and we just want to keep that tradition going. So it is a lot of pressure when you're on the field to, you know, do good for not only your team, but your coach and your parents and everyone watching you.
The thing I wanted to add is that I feel like the community also has become involved with our season, and people who we necessarily wouldn't know have been following us, and they come to our games. So you just want to make everyone proud. I mean, I feel like if we lost, it'd be just terrible, but I don't think we're going to be. So
it's not even just people in the community. It's even the lunch ladies will come to our games, and administration will come to our games. And it's just, we not only have to live up to the expectations of teams before us, but we have to live up to their expectations because, I mean, the paper said we're the best team DUI field hockey's ever seen. So we have to live up to things like that too.
So at the beginning of our season, we all gather together in a room and we analyze goals that we want to accomplish in the season. We make physical goals, which this year is we want to be ACL champions, we want to be undefeated, and we want to be state champions. I think this team is really capable of reaching those goals, as we have been completing an undefeated season and we just came off a large ACL win. So I think that's really good. So it's exciting. But we have a long way to go, and ACL is just the beginning, and I think that we're going to go far this year, and I'm excited to play with the girls.
When it comes to goals, a lot of it is communication and working effectively together, and our team is just so full of individual strengths that it makes for an amazing overall team dynamic.
For not only the team goals, but personal goals, I know I go into every game having goals for myself, and I know everyone on the team does, and I think it really helps push each other to all, reach our goals.
Our biggest pregame ritual is that we have this, what we call a hype circle. After we stretch, we all gather in a circle, and we'll try to hype each other up, whether it be Nora Bowie's inspirational quotes from songs, and we just like to really get each other, our head in the game. We don't want to see anyone feel like they're not a part of it, whether they're on the field for the whole game or on the sideline for the whole game. We really just get everyone involved, and we all get really excited to just win.
Another thing that's important about the pregame ritual is that you have to go into every game flying, because people play our team in the sense that we are the best. So every team wants to come out and try their hardest against us. So we need to always be ready and prepared for that to happen and ready to get back at them.
To add to that a little bit, knowing other teams, coaches, I know from experience that people come into the DY field hockey games knowing that we're the team to beat this year.
Another pregame ritual for away games is we always have the bus rides, and we always cheer, and we try to get everyone involved, even the JV and younger kids, just so they can grow up and know that we were leaders. They're gonna grow up and be leaders just like us and follow in our footsteps. So my personal pregame ritual is sports beans. I eat these things called sports beans. They're little jelly beans, and they give you energy, and I literally have to eat them before every game or I don't do good. And one game I didn't eat them, and it didn't go well. So yeah.
Not really a personal pregame, but every single time we go into a game when we're running on the field, me and Julia hit sticks. And if it's me and Abby, we hug and she hits me on the head. But I think a personal one for me is that my other goalie with me, Grace Bent, we really just talk to each other, and we set goals for each other, we're going to clear better, and just different strategies, and we really get each other hyped up, whether I play the whole game or whether we split time or she actually started one other game. It's really just about how close we are, not necessarily that we're competing.
Personally, I don't really have a set pregame ritual, but I like to stay optimistic and always say, I'm going to try my hardest. I'm going to try and be there for everyone. Being in the sweep position, for not a lot of people who don't, know field hockey, sweep is, the last thing, defender before a goalie. And the amount of stress that I go through in a game is literally ridiculous, because I get so stressed every time someone's coming down the field. I have just jitters that it's going to go by me, but I always try to stay strong and stay optimistic. I know I have good tackles. I know I can go up and get this ball. And I think that's really important, because the more that you think positively of yourself, the better it will affect your playing?
When it comes to our practices, I'm not going to necessarily say there's a difference between our pregame practice and our regular practice. I mean, we go into every practice thinking about what we could do better in a game situation, whether it be our corners or whether it be our offensive stick handling. We go into every practice thinking and trying to figure out what we could do better to have a better team dynamic.
I find that in practices before games, obviously coach like pushes us a lot harder because she knows that we want it, and like I think it helps us in the end. And we try to focus like on all of our individual skills, like but also working together and communicating to like showcase those skills for the game.
I think this year our team has really good communication, and I think that we're all pushing each other to do our best. And that's really important for a team because it builds the team dynamic and it builds our fluency on the field and off the field. I know that before games, we like to practice a lot of technical things, like making sure that our plays are down, our corners are down, making sure that we're all prepared for the game that lies ahead of us. And I think that the defense, offense, midfield, goalie, coaching staff, anyone who's around does a really good job of collaborating with every position. Like, we're not just the defense, just the offense. Like, we're one fluid unit, and I really think that leads to our success.
Something that I'd tell my past self if I could go back in time now is that my first few years of field hockey were really tough for me. There were a few girls on the team, and obviously I'm not going to name names, but I was really bullied my first few years of DY field hockey. And that is no reflection on the coach or anyone else. It was just off the field kind of stuff. But if I could go back and tell myself something that I learned is that as I get older, it gets better. And just going through the season with Julia and Abby and all the other seniors, like, I've never been so blessed.
Okay, so if I could go back in time, I would tell my past self to just not really like care as much about what other people think of you. Like, everybody when you go into school is like, oh, how's the field hockey team? Or you'll get some like judgments like, oh, field hockey's not like good, whatever. Like, oh, you just play field hockey, but like do what you love and like go into the game. Like, it's your game. You're going to go and play field hockey. They're not going to do it. So like do what you like to do.
All right, so something I would add to these lessons, I really think that they summed it up pretty well, because you really should like be confident in yourself and push through and persevere. And I think those are really important lessons. But honestly, if I could go back and tell myself one thing, I would tell myself to get on the track more. Literally, we run so much, and it's so important to be like in the best shape possible. And honestly, when I come out of field hockey season, there's like no muscle in my leg that can even pretend to be flabby. None. Like, literally, every drill is made so you run. Like, it's just, you can't you can't avoid it. It's just crazy. And I think that's really good, and it's a testament to like how hard we're willing to work, because you see us like running perimeters and running sprints, and I think it's hard. It's definitely not easy, but if we can get through that together, then we can get through anything.
When it comes to 7th graders, telling them coming into their 8th grade season, more than likely they're going to be on the freshman team, the 8th and 9th grade team. And I know personally from watching them practice, all they do is run. So I'd really recommend, like, over even the winter, like, just keep running, keep yourself in good shape. But when it comes to people going on to varsity, something that I would tell them is that it's a really big change of pace. When you're playing JV, you're so used to winning. And when you get to varsity, you have to realize that there's always the chance that, like, you could potentially lose. And the game's just so much faster than when you play JV.
I think something to say to people coming up to the 7th and 8th grade level is that it's really a family. Honestly, field hockey is just such a family, and we pride ourselves in how much we love each other and how much we like do together, like between team dinners, big and little sister. We really are a family. And I think that's really important to tell the 7th and 8th graders coming up, that you should not be afraid and you should not be fearing field hockey. I think you should like be pushing yourself and getting ready for field hockey, because it's a family, and it's at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about, and our love for the game. If you were coming up to the varsity level, I would definitely say optimism is your key. I think between the amount of things that are at stake for you, not only for like our record and our championships, but also for just to stay optimistic, because between everything, like every day is a new day, and everything can change in an instant between injuries or just skill or the field. Like, there's nothing that remains the same in field hockey, and I think that is a large lesson to stay optimistic and always try your best.
One more thing I would tell the 7th graders coming into the high school is really take advantage of the big sister, little sister system, because honestly, everyone's so scared of the seniors when they come in, but I know personally, like, just between us captains, like, we were so accepting of all the 8th graders coming in, and we really went out of the way to show them, like, where their classes were before school started. We wanted to introduce them to, like, everyone we knew. We were like, hey, like, this is my little sister. Like, if you see her lost, like, help her out. And it's just something that I really think that 8th graders should know that they can take advantage of, is having someone that's been through everything, like, someone they can talk to, and that's really why we do it.
Some advice for the younger kids, like, coming in. Like, I know my sister, when she came in, she was so scared to play field hockey. And I know some days today, she just, like, after practice, she'll, like, start crying and just be like, we do so much running. But really, like, push through it, and it'll, like, help you in the end. When you're on the varsity level, like, you just need to go in and prove yourself. Like, even for kids who are coming up to varsity, like, go in and play your game and stop worrying about what everyone else is going to think of you, because like, you're obviously pulled up for a reason. You're doing a great job, and like, just like, play for yourself and your team.
So just to add something to like the whole family aspect, I think I just want to share like an experience. So this past week we played for ACL, not the title, but it was a big game that would definitely put us in the right position to win the title. And I really think that the family testament showed out when you saw the people on the field on edge between the whole game. You looked over and you'd see parents sweating, like they're so concerned for you, like they want to grab a stick and go out there and help you. You look over, your coach is on the like 5 yards on the field, like just yelling at people and you're just like trying to figure out what's going on. And then you look over and you see the JV kids all lined up, like holding hands, all like screaming your name, trying, because they just want you. They know how bad that we've all worked for it, and they know how bad each of us want it. And I think at the end of the game, when the score finally showed up 2-1 at the end of the buzzer, I've never seen so many tears before. We were all just so happy, and I saw tears of like younger kids coming over, and they're like, I can't wait to be in that position. I can't wait to feel that emotion. And I really think that's a large part of it, because family is everything.
Going off of that, the same exact game, being the goalie, like, it was probably one of the most stressful games of my whole career. Letting in the first goal early was really hard for me, but Abby actually came back and she's like, hey, it's fine, like, we're gonna get it back. And we did. And at the end of the game, when the buzzer went off and we heard the air horn, and Abby turned around and she was counting down the last 3 seconds, like, it was just something that I know, being our last game, like, something like that, it's something that I'm never gonna be able to, like, do again. Like, I'm never gonna feel that again. And then everyone rushing on to me because I'm the goalie, just seeing everyone so happy and like so proud of me and so proud of each other, like, it's just an experience that I wouldn't ever get anywhere else.